Good evening everyone, this is Shikha Tiwari and today we will discuss the leftover part of the acids, bases and salt. So this is the part 2 of the acid, bases and salts. As in the previous video we have discussed some things about the acid, bases and salts. Whatever the left part is there of the NCERTs and some part is also taken from the other book also. Fine. So whatever the left part is there that we will cover in this video. Now, let us recall what we have read in the previous video. We have read about the acids, we have read about the bases, as well as we have also read about the alkalis and the indicators, but we haven't read about the salts. So, salts we will read today. But first of all, let us recall. So, what are the acids? What we have read about the acids? That acids are what? Acids are those substances which have the sour taste. So, the substances which are sour in nature, sour in nature, they are called as the acids, or in those substances some amount of the acids are also present in it. Fine. Now we are different kinds of the food substances also we are eating that are sour in taste, so in that also some amount of the acid is present. Likewise in the curd the lactic acid is present. In the citrus fruits like the lemons, oranges, etc., the citric acid is present. Fine. Now the next one what we have read in the previous video, that what are the bases. So bases are what? Bases are those substances which are bitter in taste, and if you will touch these substances then they are soapy to touch. So all these kinds of the substances which are bitter in taste and they have a soapy touch, they are called as a bases. Now the next one that we have studied about the alkalis. Now in the bases what we have read, that most of the bases are what? Most of the bases are the insoluble in water. But some of the bases are what? Some of the bases are the soluble in water. So the bases which are soluble in water, they are called as a alkalis. So alkalis are what? Alkalis are the water soluble bases. Right? Now the next one that we have read, we have also read about the indicators. So indicators are what? Indicators are those substances with the help of which we are able to differentiate between the acids, bases and the salts. Right? So indicators are what? Indicators are those substances with the help of which, if we are not able to recognize between or differentiate between the acids and bases, then with the help of these substances, that is with the help of the indicators, we are able to differentiate it. So indicators are what? Indicators are the substances which changes their colors in the acidic, basic and in the neutral solutions. Now today what we have to read? Today we have to read about the neutralization, or you can say that we have to read about the salt. So neutralization. Now neutralization, as we have learned in the previous video, that indicators are what? Indicators are those substances with the help of which we are able to differentiate between the acids and base, and we have also done the experiment also. We have read about the some kind of the natural indicators. We have read about the China rose indicator, some very common indicator that is found in our home, that is called as a turmeric indicator, and the other indicator that is called as a litmus paper, which is widely used in the laboratories, etc. Fine. So all these are the very common indicators. Now in the litmus paper what we have read, that suppose this is a litmus paper strip. Fine. And this is what? This is a blue color litmus paper strip. Blue color litmus paper strip. Now suppose if you have taken this blue color litmus paper strip, and on this paper strip if you are putting a drop of acid on it, then what you will see? You will see that this blue litmus paper strip will change its color to the red. Fine. And vice versa is the case with the base. Suppose you have taken a red litmus paper strip you have taken, and if you have put a drop of base in it, now so what will happen? This red litmus paper strip will turn red in color if you will put a drop of base on it. So this we have read in the previous video. Now with the help of this we will read about the next indicator also for better understanding for the neutralization. Here we will use any other indicator that is called as a phenolphthalein. Now phenolphthalein is also an indicator which is used in the laboratory. during the experiment also, right? So here also for neutralization, which indicator we have to take? We have to take the phenolphthalein indicator, and phenolphthalein is also an indicator that is used in the laboratories for experiment. So now here is the experiment. Let us read about the experiment. Now in the experiment, what you have to take? You have to take a test tube. What you have to take? You have to take a test tube or a beaker. Now in this test tube, you have to add some amount of the acid, and make sure you have to take the dilute form of the acid, because if you will take the concentrated, then you are not able to handle it, and it is also risky as well. So what you have to take, suppose you have taken this test tube, and in this test tube what you are adding, you have to add some amount of the dilute acid. And that which acid you have to take? You have to take the dilute hydrochloric acid, that is called as a dilute HCl. Now HCl also we have read in the previous video, that HCl is what? Some amount of the HCl is present in our stomach also, but it is present in a very dilute form, right? So suppose you have taken this dilute HCl in a test tube. Now what you have to do? You have to note down its color. But if you have seen the HCl, then you must have seen that the dilute HCl is colorless. It has no color, it is colorless. Now the next thing what you have to do? The next thing you have to take the phenolphthalein indicator. Right? Now the phenolphthalein indicator, you also have to note down the color of this phenolphthalein indicator. Fine. Now you have noted down the color of the HCl solution also, as well as you have also noted down the color of the phenolphthalein. Right. Now whatever the indicator, that is the phenolphthalein indicator we have taken, now you have to put that phenolphthalein indicator into this acid. Fine. So what you have to do? You have to add this phenolphthalein indicator, phenolphthalein, 2-3 drops of the phenolphthalein indicator you have to add to this base, to this acidic solution, to this dilute HCl solution. Now after putting this phenolphthalein indicator, you have to shake it gently. Fine. Now what you have to do? You have to observe the change in the color. Fine. You have to observe the change in the color. Right. So when you will add this phenolphthalein indicator to the acid, there will be the no change in color. It will remain as it is. Now after some time, what you have to do? After few minutes or after few seconds, what you have to do? You have to add a drop of the sodium hydroxide solution into this acidic solution. After that, again you have to shake it gently. Fine. Now again you have to add 2 or 3 drops of the sodium hydroxide solution. Again you have to shake it gently, and you have to do this continuously. You have to continuously add the sodium hydroxide solution into this acidic solution with the help of a dropper. Now as you will continue adding this sodium hydroxide solution into this test tube in which you have taken the dilute HCl, one condition will come, then what you will see? It will change its color from colorless to pink color. Now why it changes its color from colorless to pink color? Since when the solution was acidic and when you have added the phenolphthalein indicator, there is no change in color. But as you started adding the sodium hydroxide solution to this acidic solution, then what happened? The solution turns from acidic to the basic. So as the solution turns from the acidic to the basic, it changes its color from the colorless to pink color. Right. Now the next what you have to observe, again what you have to do? Again you have to add the few drops of the dilute HCl in it. Fine. Again you have to stir it, again you have to shake it gently, and as if you will add a few more drops of the dilute HCl to it. Now this basic solution which was turned while adding the sodium hydroxide solution, again when you will add some drops of the dilute HCl to it, again it will become acidic in nature, and again it will change its colors from the dark pink to the colorless. So as the solution become again acidic in nature, so again it changes its color from dark pink to the colorless. So what we conclude from this experiment? So we conclude from this experiment that when we were adding that indicator to the acidic solution, it becomes colorless as it is, as it was the color of the dilute HCl. But once the solution becomes basic in nature, it changes its color from the colorless to the dark pink color. And again what happened, again when we change that basic solution into the acidic medium, again it changes its color from pink, dark pink to the colorless. Fine. So what we get to know? We get to know that when we add the phenolphthalein indicator in the basic solution, it gives a pink color, and when we added it to the acidic solution, it remains as it is. As here you can see that acid has been taken in this test tube, and some amount of the indicator is being put up, and you can see here he or she is adding a base into it. Fine. Base, and which base they are adding? They are adding the sodium hydroxide solution. So when they were continuously add the sodium hydroxide solution to the acidic medium, so by adding this base continuously to this acidic solution, what will happen? The solution will become basic in nature, and it will changes its color to the colorless to the dark pink color. Now dark pink color when it is given when the solution is basic in nature, and when the solution will be acidic in nature, and again it will changes its color to the colorless, from dark pink to the colorless. So this is all about the experiment. Now from this experiment we will understand the neutralization. What is neutralization? Now see, when an acidic solution is mixed with the basic solution, both the solution neutralize the effect of each other. Now the next one, what is that? Suppose if you have taken the acidic solution, suppose you have taken an acidic solution to it, and if you have added the suitable amount of basic solution in it, then what you will get? Afterwards, when you have taken the acidic and when you have added the basic also, then what will happen? What will happen? A new substance is formed, and along with new substance, some amount of the heat is also evolved in it. So whatever the new substance is formed when you are adding this acid and base to any test tube or in any beaker, then the new substance is formed along with the some amount of heat. Then this new substance is called as a salt. Fine. This is called as a salt. That is called as a salt. So what we get to know that when an acid solution or a base solution are mixed in the suitable amounts, both the acidic nature, see acid have the acidic nature and the base have the basic nature. So when both of these acid and the base are taken in the equal amount, then what will happen? Or in the suitable amount, what will happen? The acidic property will also be destroyed and the basic property will also be destroyed, and when both the properties will be destroyed, the resulting solution will become neutral. That is, it will not be acidic, neither it will be basic. Fine. So we will get a new type of the substance. So whatever the new type of the substance that we are getting after the neutralization of the acid and the base, that is called as what? That is called as a salt. Fine. So salt is what? Salt is a neutralization of the acid and the basic substances. Now whenever this salt is formed, some amount of the heat is also evolved in it. And suppose you can see it also that suppose you take one acidic solution, here you have taken some amount of the base, and here you are getting some amount of the new substance. So if you will touch this beaker, you will found little bit hot. You will, if you will touch, then you will feel something, some heat is evolving. Fine. Now when the heat is evolving, then it automatically raise the temperature. As all of you are knowing that whenever we are heating that the substances, any substance, if we are boiling the water over the gas stove also, then it raises the temperature of that water. So similar is the case here also, that if any new substance is formed, then the heat is also evolved. Now when the heat is evolved, it will raise the temperature of the reaction mixture. So in the neutralization, what happens? A new substance is formed. So whatever this new substance is formed, that is called as a salt. Now this you have to keep in mind that the salt may be acidic, basic or neutral in nature also. Salt is acidic also, maybe it will be acidic, maybe it will be basic, or maybe it will be the neutral in nature also. So here you can see that the neutralization is what? Neutralization is a reaction between the acid and a base is known as a neutralization. Right? And after the neutralization, what is formed? The salt is formed, some amount of the water is formed, and the heat is also evolved in it. Fine. So suppose what we have there, suppose you have taken some amount of the acid and you have added suitable amount of base in it, then what the product is formed? The main product is formed, that is called as a salt, and along with the salt some amount of the water and the heat is also evolved in it. Fine. So here you can understood, with the help of a reaction, HCl we have read and all of us know also that HCl is what? HCl is an acid. Now sodium hydroxide is a base, and when both these substances, both these acid and bases mix, then what we are getting? We are getting a kind of the salt that is called as a sodium chloride, and along with it some amount of the water as well as the heat is also evolved in it. So finally, what is a salt? Salt is a reaction, or you can say that is a neutralization between an acid and a base. Base, that is then a new substance is formed, that is called as a salt. And how that is formed? It is formed by the neutralization reaction. Now what is neutralization reaction? Neutralization reaction is a reaction between an acid and a base to form the salt and water, along with some heat is also evolved in it, that is called as a neutralization reaction. Now the neutralization we can also see in our daily to daily life also. We can also relate the neutralization from our daily to daily life. Now the first one that you can relate through your own body, that is called as the indigestion. Now sometimes what happens, sometimes as all of you know that in our stomach the HCl is formed, but it is present in a very dilute form. Now sometimes what happens, if we are not eating at the regular intervals of, or if we are skipping our meals also, then what happens? The amount of the hydrochloric acid in our stomach increases, and when the amount of this hydrochloric acid increases in our stomach, then we are feeling the severe pain also, or we are not feeling well also. That's why it is said that we have the acidity or we have the indigestion in our stomach. Why we have the acidity or indigestion in our stomach? When we are skipping our meals, or if we are overeating anything, or if we are not taking our meal at the proper interval, then what happens? The amount of the acid increases in our stomach. So when the amount of the acid increases in our stomach, then it is causing acidity, or it is also called as an indigestion, and it is so much painful. Now in this case, what you have to do? See, in our stomach the amount of acidity is increased, so what we have to do? We have to neutralize the effect of that extra acid, or that extra acid which is formed in our stomach. So for neutralizing the effect of that acid, what we have to take? We have to take some amount of the base, as we have did in the experiment. Fine. So we have to take some amount of base. So as a base, what we are taking? Our parents are also saying, or the doctor are also giving us a kind of the base. Fine. So sometimes we are eating the milk, we are having the milk of magnesia, or the very common product that we are using to cure our acidity, that is called as a ENO. So all these products which we are taking to neutralize the effect of the acidity, that is called as a milk of magnesia or the ENO, etc. All these are the bases. So when we intake the base, now when the base goes into our stomach, then what happened? That base neutralizes the effect of the acid, neutralizes the effect of the extra acid. And therefore after taking all these kinds of the base, we feel little bit relief. We are getting some kind of the relief. So what is an acidity? Acidity is what? When the amount of acid is increases in our stomach, then it is called as acidity. And to neutralize the effect of the acidity, what we have to take? We have to take some amount of the anti-acid. Likewise, you can take the milk of magnesia also, or you can also take the ENO, etc. Now when you will take this anti-acid, or it is called as a base, etc., then this base or anti-acid will neutralize the effect of the acid that is formed in our stomach, and we will get relief from the pain. Right? Now the next one what we have to read about the soil treatment. Now see, sometimes what happen, the people or the farmers, for better yielding, what they are using some kind of the chemical fertilizers. So when the farmers are using the excess amount of the chemical fertilizers, then what happens in the chemical fertilizers, some amount of the acid is present. Fine. Now when these chemical fertilizers are added to the soil, then this makes the soil acidic. Fine. Now when the soil will become too acidic or it will become too alkaline, then the plants are also not able to grow properly. So in this case, if our soil become too acidic or too basic in nature, we also have to add some amount of the base. If it is acidic or if it is basic, then we also have to add some amount of the acid in it. Fine. So suppose if the soil is too acidic, then what you have to do, you have to treat that soil with the help of a basis so that it neutralize the effect of the acid. So which base you have to add? You have to add that quicklime, that is also called as a calcium oxide, or the slaked lime. So suppose if the soil become too acidic in nature, then which bases you have to add to neutralize the effect of that acid? You have to add the quicklime or the slaked lime. Now if sometimes when the soil become too basic in nature, then what you have to add? If the soil is highly basic in nature, then organic matter is added to it, because what happened, the organic matter release some amount of the acids, and when this organic matter will release the acids, then it will neutralize the basic nature of the soil. Fine. So accordingly, if the soil is too acidic in nature, then what you have to add? You have to add the quicklime or the slaked lime. And if the soil is highly basic, then you have to add some amount of the organic matter or the compost. You can also form the compost with the help of the garbage or with the help of the peels of the vegetables, etc. So when you will add that organic matter to the soil, then what happens, these organic matter also release some amount of the acids. Now when these organic matter will release some amount of the acids, it will neutralize the basic nature of the soil, and thus we can do the treatment of the soil if it is too acidic or basic in the nature. Now the next one that we have to study about the factory waste. Now all of you know that the industrial and the factory waste contain the acids, different kinds of the chemicals also. Now if these wastes are allowed to flow into the water bodies, now in the water bodies also, all of you know that different kinds of the aquatic animals are also living in it. Fine. So if these wastes are allowed to flow into the water bodies, the acids present in these industrial waste or the factory waste will go into the bodies of this aquatic animals, into the bodies of the fishes and the other aquatic animals. So it will harm these animals, as well as sometimes it kill all these kinds of the aquatic animals as well as the other aquatic organisms also. So what you have to do, we have to before flowing this factory waste to the water bodies, different kinds of the water bodies, what we have to do, the factory waste have to be neutralized by adding any amount of the base. Fine. Now which kind of the base you have to add to this factory waste? You can add the slaked lime to them, or before releasing to them to the water bodies, you can also add any other kind of the base, so that the acidic nature of the industrial or the factory waste can be neutralized. Fine. So in the factory waste, all of you know that in the factories, from the factories, whatever the smoke is coming out from the industries or the factories, etc., it is also polluting the environment, as well as whatever the waste is coming out from these industries and the factories, it is also polluting the soil as well as the water bodies. Fine. And directly or indirectly, they are also harming the aquatic animals, whichever the aquatic animals are living in those particular water bodies also. So before releasing this industrial and the factory waste into different kinds of the water bodies, what we have to do, it is advisable that this factory waste and the industrial waste must be neutralized with some kind of the base. And the common base that you can and add to this factory waste or industrial waste before releasing it into the water bodies is the slaked lime. When you will add slaked lime, now this is slaked lime is basic in nature, so it will neutralize the effect of the acid, and thus the aquatic animals will be safe. These industrial waste, whichever the industrial or factory waste is flowing into the water bodies, it will not harm the aquatic animals. And now the next one we have to read about the tooth decay. Now tooth decay is what? The tooth decay is made up of the calcium phosphate. Now all of you know that our tooth have the enamel part as well as the gum part. So enamel is the hardest part of the tooth. It is so hard that it is not able to, that it can't dissolve in the water also. But now all of you know that enamel is the hardest part of the tooth, and it doesn't get dissolved in the water. But as the acids are highly corrosive in nature, so if the acid will be formed in our mouth, then it also corrode the enamel part of the tooth. Now what happens, some amount of the bacteria is always present in our mouth. Fine. Now we are also having different kinds of the food items also, and in those food items different kind of the sugars, starches and the carbohydrates etc. are also there in it. Fine. So whenever the bacteria which is present in our mouth react with the sugar from where we are getting from different kinds of the food items, then what happen, it produce a kind of acid. Now suppose if the acid is formed in our tooth, then what will happen, it will soften the enamel. Now since enamel is the hardest part of the tooth, then also since it is a property of the acids that they are highly corrosive in nature. Fine. So suppose if the acid is formed, it will corrode this enamel part slowly, and thus the tooth decay occur in our teeth. Fine. So this happens often when we are not brushing the teeth, or if we are not cleaning our mouth properly after having the meal. That's why it is advisable that after having meal we have to clean our mouth properly, and that's why it is also advisable that we have to brush our teeth at least twice a day. And why it is recommended to do the toothpaste or to do the toothbrush twice a day? Because toothpaste are what? Toothpaste are also basic in nature. So suppose if any kind of the acid is formed in our mouth, then this toothpaste have the basic nature, so it will neutralize the effect of the acid. Fine. So toothpaste does what? Toothpaste neutralizes the excess of acid if any kind of the acid is formed, and thus it prevents the tooth decay. That's why it is advisable that we have to brush our teeth at least twice a day. Now the next one that we can relate the neutralization with our daily to daily life, that is the milk preservation. Now in summer sometimes what happens, suppose it is too hot, and if we forget to keep the milk in the refrigerator, or if we forget to boil the milk, then what happen, it gets sore. Now as we have read in the previous video that when it becomes sour in nature, now all of you know that that the acids have the property that they are sour in taste. So as it becomes sour, then a kind of acid is formed in it. And which kind of the acid is formed? When it is converted into the curd, the lactic acid is formed in it. So it is because why it becomes sour in nature, it is because the bacteria present in the milk produce the lactic acid. Now if the lactic acid will be present, then what will happen, it will curdles the milk, it will convert the milk into the curd. Fine. So to prevent this milk from spoiling, what we have to do, we have to add, or the milkman, sometimes the milkman are also adding a small amount of the baking soda to the fresh milk. Now when these milkman, or in our home also if our mother is adding, you must have seen that sometimes your mother is adding the baking soda to the milk. Now when we are adding this baking soda to the milk, then what happen, baking soda have the basic nature. So this basic nature, this baking soda will neutralize the effect of the acid, whichever the lactic acid will be formed. By the presence of this baking soda, the lactic acid wouldn't be able to form, and thus it will not spoil our milk, and our milk will be preserved. So baking soda, which is basic in nature, it neutralizes the lactic acid, and thus prevents the curdling of the milk, and thus our milk doesn't spoil, it gets preserved, right? So this is all about that we have read. We have read about the neutralization in daily to daily life. We have read about the indigestion. We have also read about the soil treatment, milk preservation, tooth decay, etc. Hope you have understood this acids, bases and salts. This was a part 2 of the acid, bases and salt. Hope you have understood the chapter well, and if you have understood the chapter, then you can like, share and subscribe my channel, and for more improvement you can give your suggestions below in the comment box. Thank you everyone.